Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My friends at Banggood sent me the X9 Lite a few weeks ago, and I'm really enjoying this radio. It's really growing on me. I'm flying it more and more lately. The only real thing that I'm not liking about it is that it's powered by 18650s and that it doesn't have an internal charging circuit like my X Lite Pro does. Awesome radio, by the way. But before they sent this, they asked me, hey, we have this. This is a internal charging circuit made by URUAV for this radio. And they wanted me to know, they asked me if I wanted to take a look at it. And of course I do. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. And the whole idea of this module is you can plug your X9 Lite into a USB port and it'll internally charge the batteries. So this is the board. It's pretty simple battery control module and charging circuit. Has a little LED status indicator. Comes with a few lengths of silicone wire that's pre-tinned and a few screws so we can mount it inside the radio. So anyways, let's talk about installing this. So this is going to require a little bit of electronics and soldering knowledge. If you are uncomfortable soldering a quad together, I don't recommend you do this because obviously this is probably going to void your warranty, and if something bad were to happen, you could catch your radio on fire. I don't see that happening if you follow the directions I don't see it happening if you follow the directions correctly. Not that the directions are very good, hence why I'm making this video, because the directions are kind of meh as it is. But anyways, just be warned, I am not responsible for your shoddy craftsmanship, this thing's shoddy craftsmanship if it exists, or if you hurt, damage, or whatever, anything in your house. You know, typical disclaimer. I'm not responsible. So anyways, that's out of the way. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna crack open our radio. Go ahead and remove your batteries from the back of it. Set them aside. And go ahead and take out the 4 screws that secure the 2 halves together. All right, set those aside and go ahead and lift off your back cover, and we're going to go ahead and disconnect that right here so that that's not in our way. Okay, so here we have the inside of the radio. Our charging module is going to mount right here between the 2 trim switches. Okay, now that we have the back off, we got our board prepped, we need to remove these 8 screws. Remove those. Remove these 2 screws and remove these 3. So we need to get to the other side of this board. After you unscrew those screws, we have to undo our ribbon cable here. Let's go ahead and zoom in. Undo your ribbon cable. Go ahead and pull off all your connectors. All right, we got all our connectors off. Pull them way out of the side, or off to the side. And we're gonna pull out our transmitter receiver module here. Just kind of lift it up and we're gonna just put it off to the side. And then our display cable is here. And just pop this connector forward and disconnect our display cable. After you do that, we'll go ahead and lift our board up. You got to kind of pull up from the back side. And now we have our board loose. And what we're really trying to get at is the back side of this connector here. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to wire our board, our 1S, 2S, and ground to this plug respectively. So as if you had a 2S balance connector, which I had, I don't know what I did with it. This would correspond to ground, 1S, and then 2S. And if you've noticed on our back tray, we don't have that center conductor as if this were a 2S balanceable pack. And we're going to need to add that in there. And it's pretty easy. If you have like a leftover balance plug from a damaged lipo, you can just snag the pin end out of it, and you can use that. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is just a pin out of a balance port connector, just some random pack I got laying around. Really not a big deal. So go ahead and we'll push this into our balance plug here. Might need a little persuasion. Okay. And we're going to have to make contact with one of our 18650 packs so we can balance charge them. Otherwise this thing could be extremely dangerous, but we'll visit that in a little bit here. And and you should just pull this out, the little vibrator that just kind of pulls off to the side. So now we need to attach our charging board to the back side of our main board here. And just so I can remember how the pinout goes, I'll just mark it on the back, make it real easy. So that's ground, 1 and 2. So all we have to do is now connect our board as such. So we're going to kind of work from this side to this side. Go ahead and grab my 2S wire. A little more solder. There we go, there's one connection. Now our 1S wire. We'll go here. Really trying hard to keep this all in frame, guys. Need to trim that down just a hair. All right, and now our ground connection. And again, I'm going to trim that down just a hair. The ground usually takes a little more time, a little more heat. All right, and there's a ground connection. All right, so those should be good to go there. And now we just need to put it all back in the frame. All right, easier said than done. Go ahead and do a little bit of cable management as we come up and around the board. Make sure all our connectors are up and out of the way. So there are a lot of them. There we go. Let's stick the little coin-sized vibrating thing back in the frame and go ahead and re-secure our board with the 8 screws. Again, this is going to be a #1 Phillips. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All 8 screws are back in, and go ahead and reconnect all of our connectors. And now we're going to have to reconnect our display cable. Make sure that this little clip is pushed all the way forward, or out as much as it can. And carefully kind of finagle this connector, this ribbon cable back in without bending it too much. Not bending or pinching it. I don't know what the consequences are if you don't get it in all the way and you power it up. I know the X9D, if you didn't get the backboard in the front half connected properly, you would burn the processor out. So I would just really double check that you got this installed all the way. Okay, I believe that's in all the way. If not, I'm going to be sad. And put our ISRM module back in the frame. Just got to kind of finagle it into place. There we go. And replace our screw here. Uh-oh. That could have been bad. Okay, now we have to install our board here. Let's go ahead and give some of these wires a twist. Just try to do something that resembles cable management. Oh, I almost forgot about this guy. Kind of hard to enjoy that new access protocol goodness without that connected. Now wouldn't it? All right, and now we'll just put our board right here and secure it with 2 screws. All right, so that is the board's installed. I've got my power wires connected, and now I have to scab 5 volts off of the USB port somehow. And the place that they're saying to do that at is from this inductor right here, just on this side of it. And I've checked it already with the multimeter, and I do get 5 volts there. So we're just gonna put a little dab of solder on there and make our connection. And you want to be real careful with this. It doesn't take a whole lot to screw up this whole job. If you put too much heat on there for too long, that inductor might move. So I'm just gonna hit it real quick and get off of that, and there we go. There's our connection. I'm definitely gonna put some sort of adhesive or Celastic or something on there just to make sure that that doesn't come loose, because there's not a whole lot of meat for it to attach to right there, and that'll probably be where it, if it's going to fail, it's going to fail there first. All right, now we need to address the elephant in the room, and that is this back cover, this battery bay here, because somehow we need to balance. We need to be able to balance 2 18650 batteries that are connected in series in a traditional, battery tray style format. And here is my idea. So normally you need to use 18650s with the buttons on the top and the bottom, or on the top anyways, but I don't have. So I've just been using a magnet to kind of bridge that gap. So I think we're going to do away with the magnet, and I'm just going to build up a piece of wire with solder on it to kind of fill that gap, and then just kind of scab my balance connector onto that. So go ahead and get myself a piece of wire like this that's already been tinned. And I'll go ahead and remove a good portion of the jacket on it. Now there's 100 different ways to skin this cat. My buddy Joel that kind of pointed out that, hey, this thing does need a balance circuit, otherwise it's potentially unsafe. Which, thanks for pointing that out, Joel. I really appreciate it. And see, he went and soldered a wire to a nickel, which that'll work. That'll work darn well. But I feel like a lot of people probably don't have the time or the skill to do that. So I'm going to try something a little different here. So I got my piece of wire tinned here, and I'm going to get some solder into the wire here as well. Okay, so now that we've got that on there, what I want to do is I want to take this wire and I want to kind of roll it into almost like a circle, like a ring, just like, pretty much just like that, just like you see there. I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. So I want to kind of do that, a little more flux on it. And I just want to kind of fill it in. There we go. Just like that. I'll let that cool off a little bit because that is going to be really, really hot. Just a little isopropyl alcohol to cool it off. And let's go ahead and flip it over. Just see what the other side looks like. Make sure we got the solder all the way through it. It appears that I have. I'll clean that up real good. All right. So there is going to be my interface between the two batteries. And all I'm going to do now is kind of cut this off about, and strip this back a little bit more. And we'll just leave that in the vise for now. So that part is going to come out right here. I'll just put this through the center there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder that to this wire here. All right, that's about that. Go ahead and keep cleaning this up a little bit. I can feel it's still a little tacky from the flux that I added to it. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit more. All right. Ooh. I must have a cut under one of my fingernails because that burns. Okay, so now we should have one cell here, and then this will be in between these two cells. If we put our multimeter lead on the ground wire, and on the first one we should have 4.2, that's cell 1, and then on the second one that should be cell 2, so, sorry, this should be cell 1, 4.2. And then cell 2 should be 8.2, 8.4, something like that. And then we can see what our cell 2 voltage is at. It's 4.13. Cell 1 is 4.13. Pretty well balanced. All right. So with that, and we should be able to connect this to this. The electric should still power up. There we go. Power's up. All right, so now when we plug in our USB cable, see our light will pulse. And when it's done charging, that light should go out. And just so we can verify what's going on here, get my meter up, and we'll check from ground to the first one, 4 volts, and 8.17. Check here, 4.08. Okay, so there we go. It's charging. And we should be good to go. All we gotta do is put some sort of Celastic on that guy, and we'll be all set. So I typically use this antenna fixing glue. This is the kind of stuff that you would get on an antenna or VTX. I'll put a link to this in the description. It's pretty good stuff. Just put that there, and well, that'll be that. Go ahead and button up your battery door, or the back of your radio. 4 screws.
Welcome to OpenTX.
And there we go. We're all set, and you can also charge it while you're using it. Just connect your USB cable, and then make sure you select USB storage, and you should see the voltage jump up here in a second. There you go. Now, one thing that's a little odd about this is with the charging circuit plugged in and working, like with the USB cord, you really can't tell that it's working. You can kind of see through the cracks in the gimbal a little bit sometimes. You can also kind of see back through the module port right there. You can kind of see the light flashing down there. You can also kind of hear a little bit of a hum from it too. I'll probably try to think of a way to move that LED from the charging board to here, and just so you can see it here. I think that'd be a way better place for it. But until then, I'm just probably gonna leave it the way it is and just run with it. All right, guys. Anyways, thanks for stopping by. If you like what I'm doing here, like, subscribe, and click that bell icon if you want to be notified of when I upload new videos. If you're interested in this radio or any of the stuff I talked about or used in this video, check out the video description. I have product links down there. They are affiliate links. Using those helps me out tremendously. It validates my existence here for these retailers, so they can, you know, justify sending me more cool stuff to bring to you guys for review or for how-tos and little tech tips like this. All right, I know this was a bit more involved than it probably should have been. I know URUAV's product listing is, it's just the wrong way to hook this thing up. This is the right way to do it. Probably what I'll do in the future is I'll probably just solder that balance lead right to the top of one of those 18650 packs. I'm not worried about soldering to an 18650, but either way, this will work, and there's a lot of different ways to deal with that issue. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.